feeling under.
ஹலோ என்னது பார்க்குறேன் அமைச்சர் நிகழ்ச்சியில் இருங்க, நான் பேசிட்டேன், கூப்பிட்றேன் இருங்க.
A great privilege and honor to have you amongst us. Thank you all. Our guest of honor, Padma Shri Deepika Pallikal, will be joining us shortly.
The following are the highlights of Tori during the short span of less than 6 months of taking over under. Okay.
We welcome Padma Shri Deepika Pallikal. Thank you, ma'am.
Honorable Principal Chief Commissioner Sri Ravichandran sir, respected guests of honor Sheila Priya ma'am, Purnima Bhagyaraj ma'am, Deepika Pallikal ma'am, Chief Commissioners of Income Tax, Trupti Biswas ma'am, Jayanti Krishnan ma'am, Diyankar sir and Ratnaswamy sir, and my dear friends, அனைவருக்கும் என்னோட அன்பான வணக்கம். It is indeed my proud privilege to head all these beautiful Tolis of Chennai Income Tax Department who are super talented, vivacious, full of energy and enthusiasm. I take this opportunity to thank to our Principal Chief Commissioner sir on behalf of the entire Women's Association for being very magnanimous and very benevolent in granting whatever we requested for. In fact, when this present committee took over a few months back, we have started certain initiatives and we have gone to request our beloved Principal CCIT sir, and without a wink of hesitation, sir has graciously sanctioned and approved everything. And today we can boast of installing CCTV cameras and air conditioners in the creche so that the mothers and parents can work peacefully at the workplace without any stress or tension about their children. And in fact, 15 days back, when we Women's Association went to request Principal CCIT sir for support for conducting this event on March 8th, sir immediately agreed, and he has called the headquarters officer and said whatever these women want, you have to do it. So immediately everything was sanctioned and we are able to perform this function today only because of the benevolence showered on us by Principal CCIT sir. And friends, this is the kind of institutional help we are looking for, we women are looking for. This is the kind of support we are looking for. And indeed, it is very heartening to note that this year, the Government of India has issued a circular that all the departments have to have to arrange some programs for the International Women's Day. And of course, it is an excellent initiative to bring about the awareness about the women's issues and women empowerment by the Government of India. Though several enactments have been passed and the winds of change have been blowing, but still we find several news items in the newspapers. The moment we open the social media, the newspapers, so many kinds of different kinds of harassment, violence, discrimination, whatnot. And not only in India, but also in the world over. That is why this day is recognized internationally and it is instituted as the International Women's Day. Long back, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, said, "The day when a woman can walk freely at night, that day we can say that India has achieved independence." Have we achieved that independence today? No. When the daughter wants to go out after 6 p.m., how many questions do we raise as parents? Where are you going? Which place are you going? With whom are you going? Is it nearby? You send me the link, you send me that Google map, so on and so forth. Come back early, Kanna, before 9 o'clock, before it's 9 p.m., before it's too late. Do we say that for the boys, for the sons? No. And all of us are aware of the reasons. The reasons are very, very obvious. Recently, I have read in the newspapers in Telangana, just 1 week back, a doctor, committed suicide because of the harassment of a senior colleague. And then there was another news item where I have seen which disturbed me a lot. A woman was literally imprisoned for 14 years by the in-laws and by the husband. 14 years, she has not gone anywhere, she has not met anybody, she has not spoken to anybody, she just ate what the in-laws and husband were giving and subjected to all kinds of violence. She was freed. After 14 years, she was literally freed from that prison. So if this is the condition of educated girls, then what can we expect from rural uneducated women? Well, in this context, I would not make the routine cliched statements like the mindset of men should change, the society should change. No, I would rather emphasize today that we Tholis, we women have to change. We have to become mentally and physically strong so that we stand up against any kind of discrimination and violence. I have seen in many of my own relatives and friends educated women succumbing to the male domination and all kinds of harassment. Why? Fear of society. The daughter gets married at a very young age, and if she wants to break away from the family, leave alone the mother-in-law, the sister-in-law, they will not help. Even the mother, even the father, they do not help. The sister, the aunt, the grandmother, they say, no, this is the life, this is part of life. You have to carry on. You have to adjust. How many families did we not see saying such things? So the poor girl has no other go but to adjust. If in case she musters all the courage and wants to break up and live on her own, how many fingers do point out to her? How many fingers from the men folk and women folk as well? Why did she break up? She would have done something. That's why husband has left her. She should have adjusted. Are we not hearing all this kind of comments day in and day out? So I want this to stop. We women, let us support, let us help our own sisters, our own daughters, our own neighbors, our own mothers, our own aunts. Give them support, give them help. They need just a little bit of support to muster all the courage and stand up for themselves. Then only we realize that male domination will end. Supposing the wife, she does not meekly succumb, she raises her voice, she raises again. The husband will think twice to raise his hand or to raise his voice. Same thing, likewise in the workplace too. Supposing there's some sexual harassment or some harassment, if the woman stands up against the man, then he will think twice to raise his voice or do it once again. So women, police, let us realize our true potential. We have a Shakti, we have a Durga, we have Saraswati in us. So let us awake ourselves, let us be mentally and physically strong. We are the nation where goddesses are worshipped. We are the nation where the country is called as Bharat Mata and not as Bharat Pita. So let us be bold and strong and go ahead in a strong manner. We have with us true icons of women empowerment today. Sheila Priya ma'am, who has held various important posts like Secretary to Governors, Secretary to CMs and various other coveted posts. We have accomplished artist and successful entrepreneur in Purnima Bhagyaraj ma'am and Deepika Pallikal. At such a young age, she has achieved such great heights of success, including Arjuna Award and Padma Shri. And in fact, Deepika has won the championship medal in Commonwealth Championships after her kids were born. And we have our own beloved Chief Commissioners, Jayanti ma'am and Trupti Biswas ma'am, who are heading the department today in the top positions. So how much they would have struggled, how much they would have sacrificed. They have come to this position only through their grit and determination. So let us take a leap out of their career and move forward. So Tholis, I would say that the day when we are brave, the day when we are strong, the day when we are bold, then the day when we stand up against any kind of discrimination and harassment, the day we don't point out fingers at the other woman, the day we support the other women, our sisters, the day we muster all independent courage and live independently, we speak up for ourselves. That day, India will progress and India will see India where women live with dignity, without harassment and violence or any kind of discrimination. Mikka Nandri, Vanakkam.
I request Sheila Patsarthi, Additional Commissioner of Income Tax, to felicitate Ms. Purnima Bhagyaraj, Guest of Honor. I request Ms. Baswati Chatterjee, Additional Commissioner of Income Tax, to honor Ms. Deepika Pallikal. Request Ms. Anita, ITO, to felicitate Ms. Tripti Biswas ma'am, Chief Commissioner. I request Malavika ma'am, ITO, facilitate Jayanti Krishnan ma'am, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax 1. I request Ms. Jayalalta, ITO, to honor Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Devendra Narayan Kharsar. I request Ms. Parameshwari, ITO, to felicitate Shri M. Ratnasamy, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, TDS. Thank you all. The
Coming late. It's very nice to see a lot of women in the room. Usually it's one side all men and one side all women, and now today it's all women. So it's actually really nice to see the room filled with these beautiful women. But I'm going to keep it short. I just want to say thank you for having me here today. The last 1 year has gone past really in a whiff for me. My twins were born in October 2021, and I didn't have much time to come back to the court, but I had to make way to come back to the court and represent the country by April, which was the first World Championships. So for me to be here today, I've not really stepped out of the house. The only places I've seen is my house, the squash court, and my kids' school. So it's actually really nice to come out here today. But I think, I've gone for a lot of Women's Day functions over the years, but I think the last 1 year has truly been very different for me, because as all of you know, my twins were born in October, but the hardest part for me was to come back on court after that. I'm sure a lot of you are mothers out here, and I'm very honored to be here amongst all of you, because I know how hard it is to juggle motherhood and a career. And it's been truly a very satisfying thing for me, more than winning medals at the World Championships or the Commonwealth Games, just to see the kids out there supporting me and knowing that, they can look up to someone and always say that, oh, my mom represented the country. I think that's a very satisfying thing. So I would just like to thank all of you for having me here today, and happy Women's Day. Thank you.
எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். A very good afternoon to one and all who have come here. Respected dignitaries on stage, Chief Commissioner Sri Ravichandran, and all the other dignitaries. I may say something, your designation, I may mispronounce it or missay it, so I'm just requesting all of you. So glad to be here amongst this august presence. Today's function is basically about Tori, and I was told that it's a cultural event held every year. To be very honest, this is one office I never liked coming to. Because I always, yes, I know that. So, because I always thought the people who worked in the IT department were very serious and very intimidating. But this is such a pleasant surprise. I never expected that you have so much of fun over here. I heard you are always having cultural activities and so many functions are being organized. That is really wonderful. And I also heard about the creche that is there. That was something so new. I never expected that something like this can be inside the serious income tax department. So I don't know, how many years has it been running? For 40 years. My God, that is quite a bit, and a great feat, So congratulations to everyone who's been part of this, who has thought of this idea to start this, and it's there in many places, but I never expected it to be here. And I believe that even older children are coming here, That's what I was talking to them about it, and it is really wonderful. Well, today is Women's Day, and don't you think that 8th of March alone should not be celebrated as Women's Day, A woman should be celebrated throughout her life for all the difficult roles she plays in, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, as a sister, and everything that she does, She takes all the brickbats from everyone. Whoever wishes will pounce on her and tell her, do this, do that, and all that. See, a woman herself, see, we wear a watch, we get attached to our watch. We use our cell phone, we get attached to our cell phone. A woman who is so attached to her home, she is displaced from her home to go somewhere else. So shouldn't she be treated kindly and taken well care of, So that is something a woman should get the right. It's her birthright, I feel, that she should be well taken care of and everywhere she goes to. So we hear of so many different things, A woman actually I think a female species or a woman is the only one who almost dies when she gives birth. Don't you think so? She almost loses her life many times at the time, and she gives birth at the same time. So this is a wonder that is happening only to a woman. So isn't that so magical? You know, a woman is magic, is what I feel. She always is able to multitask here, and she does so many different things, and all with a smiling face. You know, she'll run a house, she will take care of her husband, she'll take care of her children, she'll go to the office, she takes care of herself, she does her own work. Sometimes she's doing so many things, you know. So she's multitasking all the time. I think she should be worshipped and she should be really applauded for what she is doing. And really this, and it's not always, I mean, like, I want to say that it's not always the woman who is doing this. You know, there are many men. I have to thank you all for being here. I never expected that there will be some men also here today, because I thought it's Women's Day means they think, why should we go, you know, but I appreciate all of you for coming here. And I know that there are so many men behind successful women. It's not always the woman who is successful by herself, but there are so many men who push her and prod her and support her to do what she is doing. So congratulations to all the men who are always supporting the women in their house. Can be their wife, can be their daughters, can be their sisters, can be even their mother. You know, the men who support them, I really, hats off to them, because they are doing something so noble. So congratulations to all of them. And see, all this is the brighter side. Women can achieve anything, is what I feel. If she puts her mind, heart and body into any, heart and soul into anything she wants to do, she can really achieve anything. And we can see by the number of ladies sitting here today, you know, that they're all in different places. So congratulations to all of them. And see, now I'm talking about all the brighter side that a woman has to go through. At the same time, there is a dark side also. And that freedom is only, we can say a girl has got her freedom only when she has the empowerment to walk safely. Like ma'am said, she can move around, travel safely at any time of the day or night. She doesn't have to think. Her parents don't have to worry that she's going to such a place. She doesn't need to be answered to, you know, like she doesn't have to say that, okay, the parents are always worried that she has to come back safely. So this shouldn't be the case. So a woman should always feel safe in our country. That is when she gets true empowerment. And we should always work towards that. I hope and pray that every woman will always, we should be there for other women. We should support them. We should help them in achieving whatever they want to do. And that is when a woman will get true empowerment. So I hope this fight of ours continues to support people and help them, because every day you hear, you know, you're scared to open the newspaper or switch on the TV in the morning because you don't know what is happening. There's a girl being raped every minute or every day, and there are women who are being abused by the family, by the husbands, by the in-laws. So all this should stop, you know. There has to be a full stop to all this, and we have to work, we women have to work and support other women who are going through this. You know, it can be through counseling or through anything, and we should try to put a stop to anywhere where injustice is happening. So I hope we'll all take a pledge that we should work towards that, helping and other women come out well and be empowered by themselves, so that they can, a woman creates the next generation, you know. A man will also realize that he's born to a woman only. So we are the ones who create the next generation. It's what we instill. We have to instill that same discipline in our sons too, so that they can become better citizens of society. So I wish you all the best, and I hope that every day is celebrated as a Women's Day. That respect, if a woman gets, that's more than enough. We don't have to have a special day to celebrate that Women's Day. Thank you all so much.
A really great privilege and honor to share this day here with you all. And as one of the dignitaries put it here, the number of women seen here is really overwhelming. Even these few minutes, the interactions with the dignitaries on the days has been extremely encouraging and has been very, very pleasant. I would like to begin by saying that the fiery speech from Aparna ma'am and the very articulate speech from Purnamaji and Deepika, the way she put forward different generations of women. See, my generation, we didn't know anything about empowerment or, women's rights. exploitation, equity, gender parity, none of these were known to us. And we were taken for training. And it used to be called sensitizing us. And we will be told that when you are working and your husband is working, everybody is working, you are called to give a pound of coffee in the morning. It's your job, your duty, your obligation, your voluntary service, whatever. And then we were taught that was exploitation. So we all got it into our mind. And we came back home, charged. We are not going to do this. But what did we end up doing? Giving coffee not only to the husband, the mother-in-law, the sister-in-law, everybody was there. So how each one of us handled it was, to say the least, hilarious. Same thing, we were very few women in our workplace. I don't know, our principal CCIT would probably have some more experience of his senior colleagues. Our batch, we were about 11 of us, up from all states put together, including a law graduate, and something went wrong somewhere, and the whole batch was failed in law. And if we did not pass that paper, we cannot be called sub-collector. We would still continue as assistant collector. So I was sub-collector, Uzhavampatti. And now this paper did not go through. So I had a head clerk who would come and tell me, if the SC feels, that is the sub-collector feels. However, if the AC feels, he will tell us. At that time, that was discrimination. That was a gender parity issue was not even known to us till we came to Chennai and found that it was a very facetious remark to be made in a workplace. I'm sure none of you all would have done anything like that. So from those days, from total ignorance and naivety and to a certain amount of innocence, we also graduated to getting very sensitive about all these issues. Because of the lack of awareness and knowledge, there was a lot of things which escaped our notice. It took us some time. And at one point of time, if you see the journey that a woman has made from the time of history, from where she led armies, where she was a diplomat, all sorts of works were undertaken by her, right from killing people to doing spies, to being in the army, to being a negotiator, to being a terminator, a liquidator, everything was done. 1600s, 1700s, we have various examples. In the north, you have even the Begums of Awadh, who were trained in martial arts. And deep down south here, we have our own Velu Nachiyar and Abaka and Rudramadevi and a host of other people also. And from there, when generals obeyed the woman, and the woman led the battle, she was slaughtered, she was massacred is a different issue. But after that, somewhere down the line, we went into this very low phase where all these sort of exploitation was there, discrimination was there, all sorts of plannings were there to eliminate, to annihilate the woman who was in power. But beyond that was a lot of success stories, not rare success stories, but a very frequent chain of success stories. And then comes this. And then in the modern age, we find that we are fighting for rights which were bequeathed to us by history long, long ago, hundreds of years ago. And today, we are at a stage where we have to see that our rights are due. Over the last 100 years, women have been fighting a very relentless battle and have been facing a lot of untold misery and unfairness in the distribution. Somebody put it very nicely, the difference between equity and equality, and the way now we have learned how to get our own equity and find our space in a world which is fast moving and fast transforming into a very one big global village with so much of technology and so much of meanness accompanying all these things. And we have learned to fight. Now, what the way forward would be to see that there are intermediaries, interceptionists, where these women, there is one group of women which will not be able to access whatever there is, their rights in terms of matrimonial disputes or properties or jobs or whatever. And then there will be another group of women powerful enough to negotiate or even to make it possible for the other group of women to actually access all these facilities or all what is due to them but which is not going to them. So this sort of interventionist can be thought of, and when we go through to various how to bridge this gap, the gender gap, the disparities, the gender parity, all these things which our women are now doing in terms of seminars, in terms of other papers, researches, and so many things. And each woman has now found her own niche. The future for all our women, it has its drawbacks, it has its problems. Everything comes with its own package of good and the bad. With all that, I would say women today have reached levels which could never hitherto have been talked of or even dreamed of even 20 years ago. And with this, I'm very happy to see so many of you here and in such great positions and being so articulate, so aware. And of course, my generation used to get slaughtered in every battle. That was a different issue. But we have learned everything the hard way. Our successive generations are far superior to us, and they are far more successful, and more meaningful lives are being led by them. I wish you all the best and congratulate you on your achievements so far. And I pray God that you all will meet with success and more success, peace, happiness and prosperity. Thank you so much.
Sir, to please release the newsletter.
Purnima Bhattacharya and Deepika Palikkal and Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Jayanti, Tripti, Priyanka and Ratnaswamy, and the President of Women Association, Tori, Aparna Rao, Secretary and other office bearers of Tori, and my dear colleagues, and the large number of representatives of women where when they pushed to the corner, not even 2 rows. Thanks for giving these 2 rows. And that really warms my heart that we do have a space in your heart. Okay? So thank you so much. I would like to share one good news today because on the eve of this Women's Day, I've been waiting for our Tamil Nadu Puducherry region, the tax targets, to reach this 1 lakh crore. We should have reached it on 1st March. I was looking at it. It was only 98, 99, 99, 200, 300. I don't know what happened. Suddenly on this Women's Day, we touched 1 lakh crore. I don't know about anything about this empowerment or power, but there is one power that is there, that it leaped by, it has been waiting all along. Had it gone by 1 crore, 10 crore, I can understand. It suddenly went by around 2,000 crores on one day. So there is something that, which I feel, the landmark or the mark that we all wanted to achieve, the gross collection of 1 lakh crore for Tamil Nadu Puducherry region has been achieved just today. So thank you to all the women folk and as well as my officers and staff for making this kind of a year a great year. This is one of those milestones that we have been thinking of achieving. Our target is 1,25,000 crores. I'm hopeful that in the next 22 days that we will be in a position to reach the target. In fact, we have a large number of people in the department as of now. If I look at the number wise, I can proudly say Income Tax Department is the only department which have large representation of women. Even when we talk about the service, people choose the service, whether it is even a lot of people are foregone IAS and IPS. They say that no, I'm going to have more work-life balance in income tax. I would rather be treated well in the department. I would get the posting of spouses getting posted together, posting of my choice. So that's one of the feature of this department. So that makes all the women officers and staff very happy, ma'am. That's one thing that I wanted to say. Whether it is officers or staff, we wouldn't like to that make them unhappy. We'll keep them as much as possible, I think, together with the family. Another issue that I wanted to bring into the light is that we have about 9 chief commissioners. Out of them, we have 3 chief commissioners who are women. 2 of them are here. One Seema is in Madurai. So we have about 30% strength of women as a chief commissioner. That is highest that I can ever expect. Because even the parliament is trying to achieve this, and everywhere that they are trying to achieve this 30%. But we have got it during this year. So this Women's Day is very special that I don't think that we are going to have the same number in the coming years. But I'm very happy and congratulate those women at the senior position and the kind of challenges they would have gone through to reach. All of you must have seen. I think it is very, very difficult for them to reach the level in spite of whatever the challenges that they have balancing the home and the office. And if we come to this issue of the women equity, equality, I rather go back, even I was hearing today about this woman being given the combat roles in Army, Indian Army. They've been there in the Air Force and Navy. I had an occasion to witness this because during my tenure in Director General of Shipping, we used to recruit people for BSc Nautical Science and Marine Engineering. We went through the process of extended merit list of IIT exam. At that time, only men were allowed to enter into this Merchant Navy. Women are not allowed. But when we had this IIT merit list, there was one woman, Richa Goyal, who was name figure. And she said, I wanted to join. Can you stop me from joining? I can tell you, there was a lot of army of men who are chief engineers and captains and who are in the maritime industry. They said, no, women cannot be allowed. They can't be on board ship. Even my training heads institute told me that I can't handle them because I have only men's hostel and men's classroom, whatever it is. I don't have a place. But guys, she was determined. I was also determined because I was heading the training that time. That we made sure that the first woman in Merchant Navy was recruited during my time, during 1996. To accommodate her, I have put the whole hostel on full corridor. I have to find a woman warden for that. And the full corridor of about 24 rooms I blocked for one woman. So ensure that, she gets all the freedom. Then after the course is completed, I was lucky to be there to ensure that she is employed on board a ship. There was one foreign ship, that was a P&O Nedla, which was willing to employ her as the first woman Indian officer who was employed on a foreign ship. So guys, there is a lot of mental block and the resistance. All this has happened in the 19th century. I can only say, I don't know how we denigrated ourselves. I was just looking at, what is this Women's Day? How did it come into the picture? If you look at it, the Russian Revolution, women fought and they wanted the voting right. Like universal suffrage, I think the voting rights have been given to women on this day, that is 8th of March. So that is being celebrated as a Women's Day. Wow, that's really kind of a thing to talk about it. But I was just thinking, how can women be denied this voting right? When they were kind of treated not equally? But when I look at this, internationally, there has been, kind of a tradition or a trend not to give women the voting rights. And maybe the first women liberation or the fight for the wages happened in New York. They had a strike. That was supposed to have been the 28th February. US celebrated 28th February as Women's Day. But then this Russian Revolution thing which happened, and with the women getting the rights and all other countries following this kind of universal voting for women, then this day came to be known as a Women's Day. But we never had this problem in India. In fact, I would rather not to go to the India, but I would rather look at Tamil history, that we have been looking at it for the past. I was, my favorite topic of going back to Sangam age, even going beyond Sangam age to Vedic age. There were lots and lots of women who were part of our system, who are not I wouldn't call them equal, they are much above. Guys, the women were there, men were at the bottom. In fact, in the Rigvedic time, I don't know, somehow that we lost our history and tradition. And Rigvedic time, Rigvedic hymns were written by women. There were women rishis who were there at that time. And there was kind of, that even subsequently when you come to the Sangam age, we look at it, the women had equal rights. In Sangam age poets, if you look at it, there were about 32 poets who are from, the women who had like our Karikalammayar, all of Abhayar, all of us know. I think we had women who are going there, going out, they are reading, like whatever you call it. The women's type of education at that time is Iyal, Isai, Natakam. They were something that, which is part of the women's education in that time, during Sangam time. I was just looking at it, we never had this kind of, what we talk about, this disparity and, the kind of protection to be given to women. I don't know whether who should be blamed, but I think I would rather say we see a lot of negative news that is happening in the media every day about, their freedom is being endangered. I feel really ashamed, but I feel proud to have a rich tradition and culture of a Tamil tradition where we respected the woman. Vedic tradition, where we respected the woman. Even the godly tradition, where we start with it. Where do you go if I don't have Saraswati for learning? If I don't have Lakshmi for my wealth? If I don't have Kali for destroying the evil? There's nothing that men God don't come anywhere else there. They all must be somewhere there sleeping in the ocean. But the thing is that it is the women who takes the gajals of this and then start getting into it and killing the Asuras or Rakshasa or whatever it is. So when you look at it, this is something part of our culture, which we have been doing. But when I do pray to the God that is different, I can pray to the woman God, but at home I don't treat my own kind of women at home, the mother who gave birth to me, or the sister whom I want. I think that my mother, whom I remember, is the one who brought me to the earth. My sister who have been caring a lot for me. My wife who has been a kind of, support all along in the life. And we just kind of forget and start treating them differently. I find I'm not able to find that incongruity or something there. All this has happened now. Protection, rights, and equality of women to be given in the constitution. And then you call about the right to information, then you call about the Vishaka judgment, and over and above that you are even now thinking about, that women given equality of whatever, everything, employment and this, that. I don't know where that equality wasn't there. It is the choice that, that sometimes, somewhere we denigrated ourselves, the so-called whatever, the male-dominated society, which have kind of, refused to accept the so-called powerful and dominant women. Women are powerful inherently. I would rather give some thoughts for you to do this. Women are powerful when you say this. Biologically, women are much more powerful. The studies have shown, they have done a study of the person who lived beyond 110 years in the world. There were only 43 people who lived beyond 110 years. Out of that, how many are women? 42. 42 are women. There's only one man who could cross that 110. So, women have lived much longer. Even if you look at the life expectancy rate of any country for that matter, women live much longer than the men. So, women genetically has a much kind of higher capacity to survive than the men. Whether you take Ukraine famine, whether you take Irish famine, these were all the records documented there. They were the women. In spite of them caring for the children and their family, they survived more than the men and others. If you look at it, this has been the history that, all the famine that we had, there have been research articles there which proved that, they had the great surviving ability. Why to talk about all this? Recently, there were much studies on this corona times. It was the women who survived more than the men. In fact, the men above 65 years became much more vulnerable. Women above 65, the deaths were very, very minimal. So to that extent, I think biologically it has been proved that, they are much more stronger. Take it, socially. That is where we come in, The society as a whole, we fail. We fail to protect the so-called the mother, so-called the goddess, so-called the empowerment of whatever that you call it, as we look up to as a kind of embodiment of the knowledge. And we are the ones to blame for it because we denigrated ourselves. We should be ashamed of not treating the women the way that we should have treated. If you come to this protection, I don't know, this is one of those which I, say earlier also about this Pari story. The king that who had those two daughters, Angavai and Sangavai, so beautiful daughter. And then these two daughters, I think both Chola and whatever, Chola, Chera, Pandya, all the kings wanted to marry those two daughters of Pari. So they went, they fought. That girl was not willing to marry any of those kings. She said, no, get lost, I don't want to marry you. Then they laid a siege on the Pari kingdom. So it was a small place. And they didn't give in. So they killed the king. Even then the girl said, no, I'm not going to marry you. At that time, imagine the kind of freedom, I'm talking about just freedom of those two girls. They stood up. The king said, okay, I killed your father. Now we are going to take forcible possession. At that time there was a poet Kabilar. All of you know this Kabilar. The Kabilar said, they are under my care. I'm not going to let you touch them or do anything with them. Imagine, howsoever the mighty the king may be, the king respected the poet and he said, no, I'm not going to do any of those. And these two girls turned out to be one of those poets during the Sangam time, and they were the ones who were much celebrated, that poetess during the time. See, can you think of at that time, I'm talking about some 2000 years back, someone 2500 years back, someone fighting against a mighty king, not one king, all the three kings, and still surviving and leading the life. What are we talking about now? That was a kind of a tradition and history that we had. To that extent, I don't find kind of, maybe there is any kind of, we don't have that in us. We don't have this in our own culture or tradition. We don't have it in our genes. I wouldn't say all that. I think it's something somewhere that has gone wrong. Let us rediscover. Let us make sure that I think that we kind of treat them with the due respect and the dignity and the right which they all deserve. I'm very happy that Tori has taken a lot of initiative. In fact, Aparna Rao and the team of officers, they're refurbishing the creche. That is a really wonderful sight to see. And in fact, monitoring them through the CCTV camera and bringing out this newsletter and organizing a lot of these cultural events. I'm very happy to see that I think lots and lots of events are happening. At the same time, I would also request you earnestly that do not keep quiet. When there is any injustice, when there is any kind of, that problem that you face, which does kind of interfere with your dignity and self-respect, because everyone has a right. It is a constitutional right, not only for the women, but also for men. If there is any kind of infringement of this, I would be the first person to kind of, please speak up. If you don't speak up, if you are going to silently suffer, you are doing harm not only to yourself, but to every woman around you. Okay? Please speak up. And I tell you, there's no need to worry about the social stigma. We have crossed that stage now. Now the younger generation are teaching us that how they cannot live in a marriage which is abusive. You find there are lots and lots of women coming up and saying, no, I don't want to be part of this marriage. Sometimes people will say, why? You better adjust. It is like a very, I remember in Kannada, Solpa adjust madi. There's one word that they say. The Solpa adjust madi is a kind of a panacea for all the solution. What is this adjust madi? I don't think if a man cannot adjust, why should women only has to adjust? So this problem has started because the moment she has taken up a larger role, she started adjusting, then the suppression has started. Then the kind of oppression has started. So this is the kind of, that way where you should not give in there. You have an equal right, you have an equal kind of, I would rather say more than equal right, because you have the major role of giving birth to the child. Mother role has been luckily given to the woman. I'm very happy. Had it been given to men, I was just wondering what would have happened. I think so. In a way that that you have a larger role, you have a divine role to play, and I wish you all the best on this Women's Day. And I'm also very happy to see a large number of officers and staff gathered here. And this administration has specially taken care to redress the grievances, to make sure that the intercharge transfer of wherever the officers who are there and staff who are there who would like to go and join their home or the family or the parents. We have been kind of 100%, we have given the request. And also that wherever there is a compassionate appointment to be given, where the majority are women, I think they have also been taken care. And I'm very happy about it. And all the initiatives, I wish the Tori all the best in the coming years. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
The second prize goes to Pechi. The third prize is shared by Geeta Devi, Bhuvaneshwari and Shanti. Here comes Bhuvaneshwari ma'am.
இது எப்படி சார் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க ஆங்கிள் வச்சுட்டு Otherwise, I usually don't.
Geeta Devi ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now we would like to Shyam. Now we would like to invite Srimati Sheila Priya ma'am, retired IAS officer, to distribute the prizes to the prize winners of the solo dance. The first prize is backed by Lavanya. Prize winners, please be ready. Not there. Okay, the second prize goes to Twinkle. The third prize goes to Chitra. Thank you, ma'am. Now we would like to invite Srimati Purnima Bhakyaraj ma'am, film star, to distribute the prizes to the prize winners for the group song event. The first prize is backed by TM Hemalata and team. The team comprising of Pechi, Manoranjidam and Mangalam Ravi. Hemalata ma'am, Pechi, Manoranjidam and Mangalam Ravi. The second prize goes to Aparna Das and team. Aparna Das, Lucky Singh and Shanti. Third prize goes to Vedavalli and team comprising of Bhuvaneshwari, Rubini, Uttara and Archana. Thank you. Now we would like to invite Miss Deepika Palikal ma'am, Arjuna awardee, to distribute the prizes to the prize winners of the event, group dance. The first prize is backed by Jyoti Chauhan and Bharti Dingra. Jyoti Chauhan and Bharti Dingra. The second prize goes to Chitra and Sujata Das.
Audience, please cheer the participants, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Now we would like to invite Srimati Tripti Biswas ma'am, CCIT, to distribute the prizes to the prize winners for the event Vegetable Carving, which is a team event of two members. Please, ma'am. First prize is backed by Swatini and Gayatri. This is Swatini and Gayatri. Second prize goes to Priyadarshini and Revati. This is Priyadarshini and Revati receiving the prize. Third prize goes to Rubini and Uttra. Audience, please cheer them up.
சொல்லுண்ணா ஃபோன்
Louder, please.
ஃபோன் சைலண்ட் கனெக்ஷன் தெரியல ஹலோ
Thank you, ma'am. Now we would like to invite Srimati Jayanti Krishnan ma'am, CCIT, to distribute the prizes to the prize winners for the event traditional attire. It is an event of two members. Please, ma'am. Second prize goes to Gayatri and Bhuvaneshwari. Audience, please cheer. Third prize goes to Sumati and Manisha. This is Sumati and Manisha. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now we would like to invite Sri D.N. Karsar, CCIT, Again, the third prize is shared between Tamil Arasi ma'am and Jeeva Vaishnavi. This is Tamil. This is Jeeva Vaishnavi. Thank you, sir. This is an event of two members. First prize goes to Ankita Barwal and Sangeeta. Audience, please cheer. place, Revanti. Third prize goes to Tamil Ma'am and Siva. Thank you. I request President Ma'am Aparna Rao to felicitate Bhuneshwari.
அசோக் சார்
I now invite
பல்லவன் முடிஞ்சிருச்சு
Madam Sheila Parthasarathi, Additional Commissioner of Income Tax, to give vote of thanks.